Hello, dear listeners. Welcome back to our news channel. Students, today we are going to talk about news articles that are shaping our nation. And these new articles are regarding first is a new law about Waqf properties and why it has sparked debates. And then we're going to talk about India's strategy to become a global defense exporter. Okay. And then, yes, we have finally a quick look at Studio Ghibli AI and what it means for the future of art. Okay, so grab your earphones, stay curious, and let's begin. Let's start with the Waqf Bill. Okay, Waqf Amendment Bill 2025 this year. So on April 4th, Parliament passed a controversial law dealing with something called Waqf property. You might be wondering, what is Waqf? Right? Well, in simple terms, it is a property donated for religious or charitable purposes in Islam. So any property, once it becomes a waqf, it can't be sold or transferred. Okay, so it's like donating a building to a trust forever. And the idea is to serve people, like running schools, mosques, or even helping the poor. But what has changed with this new bill? Okay, so now this bill, earlier anyone could dedicate a property as waqf. Okay, even non-Muslims. But the new amendment says only those who have been Muslims for at least 7 years can do it. Okay, only they can donate the property as for Waqf. And why is this important? See, critics are saying that this is unfair because what if someone recently converted to Islam and they wanted to donate their property for a noble cause? Okay, so that is what some people are saying. And another key aspect of this bill is that the law now says that the chief executive officer of work board must be a Muslim. Okay, it that the CEO of board must be a Muslim. Earlier, the state government had the freedom to appoint anyone. Okay, earlier they used to have freedom to appoint anyone. So critics argue that this limit inclusion, this that this limits inclusion, and it violates the idea of equality. Okay. Also, new rules allow up to two non-Muslim members in the board, but many say that's too little for something affecting public land and funds. Okay. Now, there's also something called Waqf by user. Okay, Waqf by user. So this is a big one. Imagine a local mosque that's been around for 100 years, but it has no official paperwork, only word of mouth or old photos. So earlier, such places were protected, but now they must prove legal ownership or documentation. Okay, so this is another aspect of the news article of this bill. And there's also about accountability and surveys. See, government says that uh, they want transparency and better surveys. And a new law recommends that surveys be done by district magistrate instead of government appointed work official. Okay. So that is again another aspect. So some people are saying that this could lead to unbiased reviews of land. Okay, while we have some supporters of the bill who will say that it will end illegal waqf declarations and it will bring more transparency, and this will also stop misuse of public property. But critics they also argue at the same time. They are saying that it's interfering with religious rights, and it also discriminates by excluding recent converts. Okay, and it may be used to control waqf land, right? So two kinds of people are there, who support the bill, and then we have critics who are arguing. Okay, so let's keep watching in the news, and how it develops, and whether it brings more clarity or controversy. That is what that need to observe. All right, so that is all about the new work bill. And then, students, we have next article, and it is something completely different. Okay, so this news article is related to India's plan to become a global export in defense. Okay, so it sounds intense, right? But don't worry, it's just will make it super easy. So India used to be one of the world's biggest importers. Okay, importers of the defense equipment, जैसे tanks, missiles, aircraft. मतलब we used to buy lots of defense equipment from other countries. We are buying. But today it wants to flip the script and become a major exporter. That means selling Indian made defense equipment to other countries. है ना? तो पहले तो हम बहुत ज़्यादा खरीदते हैं सामान, है ना? बहुत ज़्यादा डिफेंस इक्विपमेंट हम खरीद रहे हैं। पर अब क्या है? अब हम चाह रहे हैं कि वी वांट टू बिकम अ मेजर एक्सपोर्ट। We want to sell Indian made defense equipment to other countries. Why? Why we want this? Because first of all, it will bring money. Yes, it will bring money, because exports grow the economy. And there also be respect, since other nations depend on your technology, so they will respect you. And because we are producing our own defense equipment, so this will create more jobs at home. Okay, now how does this India control this? See, India actually follows a very strict strategic trade control system. Strategic control system. India's strategic trade control system. अब ये क्या है? Students, these are like traffic rules, but for weapons, software, and technology. Since there's a risk that bad actors could use Indian products to build weapons of mass destruction, so the system ensures that there are certain rules that need to be followed. Like there should not be any misuse, no control, no uncontrolled transfers, and the buyers use the items only for agreed purposes. जिसके लिए सहमति हुई है, उसी काम के लिए ही बायर्स यूज करेंगे. Okay, so recently what happened, government released a new version of its handbook on India's strategic trade control system. New handbook government ने release किया है, and it was created by the Directorate General of Foreign Trade, DGFT, under the Ministry of Commerce. And the handbook explains how to get permission for exports, what's allowed and what's banned, and what happens if someone breaks the rules. ओके, तो हैंडबुक में सारा कुछ डिटेल मेंशन है कि किसको परमिशन होगा, क्या अलाउ है, क्या बैन किया जाएगा, एंड व्हाट हैपेंस इफ समवन ब्रेक्स द रूल्स. ओके, and students, moreover, India also follows four major international agreement treaties, जैसे MTCR हो गया. Okay, uh, so these are nothing, these are just sort of international agreements that India also follow. Like we have MTCR, Australia group. Okay, MTCR, Missile Technology Control Regime, Australia Group, Wassenaar Arrangement, okay, Nuclear Supplier Group, okay. तो तो ये सारे जो अग्रीमेंट्स है, इंडिया इनके मेंबर है ना। और इससे क्या होता है कि मेंबर होने का मतलब क्या होता है कि जो इनकी प्रोविजंस हैं उसको, ग्लोबली डिसाइडेड जो प्रोविजंस है, इंडिया फॉलोज इट, राइट। बट देयर इज अ कंट्रोवर्सी रिसेंटली। अ यूएस रिपोर्ट, यूनाइटेड स्टेट की एक रिपोर्ट रिलीज हुई है जिसने ये कहा है कि दैट इंडियन कंपनी HAL, हिंदुस्तान एरोनॉटिक्स लिमिटेड, सप्लाइड इक्विपमेंट फ्रॉम ब्रिटेन टू रशिया। The US government is saying this, that we have supplied equipment from Britain to Russia. But the Indian government denied the claim, calling it factually incorrect and a political narrative. India said that we follow all the rules. So don't try to just blame us. Okay? All right? तो इंडिया ने ये कहा है. Now talking about how our defense exports doing. See, on April 1st, the Ministry of Defense, it announced certain, provisions, and that exports hit an all-time high of 23,622 crore. ओके, कि बहुत ज़्यादा अच्छा ग्रो करा है, 12% जंप हुआ है. Export also grew by 12% jump from last year. Then government's goal is increasing to 50,000 crore. 50,000 crore by 2029. And how are we achieving this? By making export rules easier, giving faster approvals, and even allowing private companies, not just PSUs, to export. All right. So, in short, India is aiming to become a trusted supplier of high tech defense equipment while strictly following international rules. So, you can call it a balancing act between power and responsibility. All right. Now, students, let's end today's episode with something light and a little magical. Okay, you may have heard of Studio Ghibli, the legendary Japanese animation company behind movies like Spirited Away, My Neighbor Totoro, and The Wind Rises. These films are famous for their deep emotions, hand-drawn beauty, and unique characters. But why is Ghibli in the news? Because AI like ChatGPT is now able to create images that look like Ghibli's animation in seconds. Okay. So social media was flooded with AI made art imitating Ghibli. And some people were impressed, others not so much. Why? Why there's a debate? Because Hayao Miyazaki, yes, Hayao Miyazaki, the co-founder of Studio Ghibli, has always believed in handmade. Okay, he always believed in handmade art. He once even said that using machines to create emotion is an insult to life itself. He said that it's an insult to life itself. So critics worry that AI could replace real artists, or it could destroy the human touch in art. Okay, and this might be used to steal artistic styles without permission, है ना, परमिशन के बिना ही. अब ये तो गलत है, क्योंकि जो फाउंडर है, जिन्होंने इस आर्ट को ओरिजिन जिन्होंने किया है, उनके परमिशन के बिना अगर यूज किया जा रहा है तो दिस इज एन इंसल्ट टू आर्टिस्ट क्रिएटिविटी. So at the same time, some people believe that AI can help artists and not replace them. And it could become a tool like a paintbrush. So this debate isn't just about animation, it's about the future of creativity. Can machines have soul? Or is that something only humans bring? That is the thought you need to think about. Okay, students, so that's all for today's episode. We have covered a lot. And if you enjoyed this episode, do share it with your friends. Okay? So stay tuned, stay informed, and keep questioning. Bye bye.